Well, good morning to you beautiful awakened people. Right. How do I feel about what is going on in the world at the moment? Well, let's see what I've got to come out. Well, first of all, you know, we're all in this together, regardless if you're aware, awoke, or you're doing something about it, or you're not, or you're unaware. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to every single man, woman out there that works really hard pulling together. You know, thank you to all the nurses and the doctors and, you know, all these good people that are out there trying to make a good living and do their best to keep up with everything that we keep getting thrown at us. You know, it's not a very easy living system. You know, some people are born with silver spoons in their mouth, and these people born with silver spoons in their mouth probably don't even know what it's like to sit at the bottom. So, you know, for everyone that is at the bottom and struggling, or anyone that's anywhere in their life struggling, because again, even though money is great, money doesn't always buy you happiness. Again, you know, you can have as much money in the world, but it doesn't mean that you'll always be happy. You can have as less as money in the world and be as happy as anything. So, you know, let's just try to remember that money isn't everything and everything in this world. If we have a bit of love, care and sharing, it can get us a long way, especially if we use our words nicely and we speak to each other nicely and we help each other out. You know, we don't need to do stuff for each other, but just be aware of everyone's got some feelings, and realistically, no matter what we all think or what we believe to know, our feelings all work in the same way. The only thing is that we've been determined to know what our feelings are and just to use our brains as a thinker. And this is where I believe mental issues come in, because they put so much strain on us to do this and to do that. I don't actually think we're all really built for any of it in the first place. And if you're not built for it in the first place, then we're all going to have a struggle. I'm not saying there ain't people that can get through it. You know, we can get up and dust ourselves down with everything, and we get up and we get on, and people just say, well, that's the way of life. Well, unfortunately, it's not the way of life. It's the way that life has been built and constructed, and it's the way that we've all perceived it without being taught correctly about how this system works, because everything else is built on myths. And everything's built on myths, then you've got no truth. Everyone thinks differently because no one knows about our real past, only what we've been taught and what we've gone through. And again, all of these wars, 1, 2 and 3, didn't really need to exist. It was just man grabbing power. So for people that don't really understand, think of it like this. Most people have been taught that Native Americans had the land, and then it was the white Mormons and the white people of America that drove them off them lands by killing them and then putting it as a US state, taxes, taking the land off the people and putting it into a state, which a state is a corporation. It's a man that had an idea to steal land, capitate it as his own, make up some rules, get everyone to live by them, and then as you do that, you create more wars for anyone like me and yourself that stand up for it, because you don't want the good people to talk, because if the good people talk, then the other good people that don't realise they're stuck in a military compound, because that's what it really is. You know, that's why we have defence and military in the first place. But what most people don't realise is that the people that join the military or the police or anything like in that statute believe they're joining it for good. but not realising that sometimes the narrative behind these people are not about good. They might show you and think it's good, but it's not. And the reason it isn't is because realistically, every man and woman and child that's ever been born on this planet has a free choice, freedom of choice, freedom of will, and freedom of speech. But unfortunately, we get taught to speak, we get taught to walk, we get taught to sit down, we get taught to roll over. But when we get older, we get told to shut up and do as they're told. And if anyone says anything, then you're rather a conspiracy theory, or you just don't fit in because you're not following the narrative of what this life is. Now again, I'm not saying that parts of this life can't be good, because there is. It's what you make it. But again, this is not necessarily about me and you. This is about all of us. And if we've got a conscious mind, with so much going around at the moment, you will see that we live in a planet called Pedoville. And the reason it's called Pedoville is because we let all of these pedophiles run our countries, and then we follow their guidelines because we think we're doing and helping each other by keeping each other safe. But realistically, we're not actually keeping anyone safe, because the system isn't a safe system, and it only works for those that created the system. Now, when people start to realise that 13 bloodlines are all fighting against each other to have hold over humanity's taxes, humanity's main corporations. So again, most people won't realise, but if you actually going in to look into BlackRock, Vanguard, and all of these top corporations, you'll see they basically literally own everything all the way down. They don't just own your businesses that you're paying on top. They own the gun shops, the drug trade, the army trade, the military trade. They own everything, the money, the lot. And what they do is, you think these people at the top of their own businesses, do you think they're paying their own taxes? Of course they're not, because taxes is fraud in the first place. It was invented by them to keep you with less money in your pocket, and so that you could keep putting money in, so it could look like they're doing a good job for you. But let's be honest, think of how many people just in the UK alone that are just paying their taxes, and you've got potholes everywhere not being done. Where's that money gone that you've put in? But then it's all right for you to be pulled up when they feel like it, is it? You put all this money in, you go to work, you got the police that you pay for to protect and serve you, but then they're going out using their job acts against you when they're just rules. And if you make a mistake, they're not there to be charged. They're there to advise you that you've made a mistake, and this is the act that you should be upholding, because it's a kind of a common sense to think not all acts are good, even if you think they presume to be. Again, an act is nothing but an actor. So, you know, for those that don't know and you believe that act is actually a law, it isn't. It's a rule for the police to uphold. It doesn't mean it's law. It's an advisory, a guideline. That means that these police should and should not be charging you on an act. Again, it's not law. An act is an actor that works in a pantomime. And if everyone just took a couple of minutes to realise that every job interview that anyone does, again, it's called a job interview, and that job comes with an interview description. And when you apply for that job description, you are applying for an act. It doesn't make it law. The only reason people think it's law is because of their statue, and because they get paid more money than others, and because of the narrative and the uniform that these people wear. We have been now psychologically brainwashed to fear or to believe that is how it works. Again, just for those that don't understand, law is just land, air and water. That is it. There is no more to law than land, air and water and common sense. It's purely that. And under the law, land, air and water, if you did no harm, no loss and no injury, again common sense, then you haven't broken any law. Because there has to be a victim to break the law. Standard. And any act that a police or officer do, that means they're in breach of their own oath, because their oath says, and you don't need to read the whole lot and understand the whole lot, because inside there it says 2 words. That's all it really says. If you read the whole thing, it says, I solemnly swear, blah blah, to protect and serve the people from harassment. Again, for those that want to protect themselves, very easy, very simple. You can play the game of a legal procedure, and you can play the dead corporation at its own tactics. You can find a loophole, but it will never break you free from legal, because you will have to find another loophole, because again, the only way that you will ever beat legal is if you stand up as a man or a woman, as your sex. Stop consenting in your name. Stop letting people make claim on your name. Again, when you first find this out and you hear that your name is the straw man, most people start going into a defensive, because when people come round or write a letter or ring you, they will use your name, and then tenderly some people will get all nervous, or some people will just start regurgitating what they've learned. Now, I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, because we all have to learn, we all have to stand, we all have to say what we feel. Just trying to make it easier for people to recognise that legal, again, under the definition of legal, it is just an infinity game, a chess game, that basically, in other words, that needs everyone to have different jobs, to make up different policies and guidelines for that business, and for you then everyone to believe that everyone's is law, because their policies, and because you don't understand their policies or how to beat their policies, we just accept it as it is. Again, these policies need consent, and if you do not consent, you are not breaking the law. It means that you are not obeying another man's rule to make money out of you. Again, everything is based on money, everything is based on fear, and everything's based on programming. And if they can program you to believe that legal and your job and your ego and your opinions for that job are worth more than common sense and our own language as a whole, this is why we don't get taught our language correctly, only incorrectly. And those that get paid all the money more at the top more likely know what I'm talking about, because they need to keep it hidden so they can keep you in the game. So it doesn't matter if you're a winner or a loser in any situation, you're always going to be the loser, because it'll be coming out of your pocket no matter what. And it doesn't feel like you're winning anything when you know you're right about something, but you're still paying that bill, and you can't get why, and you only accept it because of that's the reason, and then you move on believing that this is the way that the system goes. Again, let me just remind you that legal is only paper. Legal is only connected to law, and the only reason it's connected or allowed by law is because we don't understand or we can't comprehend what our law is. Our law is, again, land, air and water. Do no harm, do no loss, do no injury. Take responsibility for your own actions. Have a bit of common sense in knowing what's right and wrong. So if no one knows what no harm, no loss, no injury is, well, no harm is self-explanatory, no injury is self-explanatory, and loss. For those that don't understand what loss means if you're damaged your property, if a man comes to waste your time, coming to your door to enforce you into a corporation or their business job, that would be losing time. Anyone trying to, loss of your damage, scratching, I don't want to sound like I'm, like teaching to suck eggs, but again, people do get feared of other people, and believing man has power over another man. The only time a man will ever have power over a man or a woman is if you cause harm, loss or injury. Now, if you cause no harm, no loss, no injury, then everything else is on consent. Or otherwise, under the law, common means common sense, means common knowledge, means common ground. Again, ground means land. And the thing is that people don't understand all of this because we don't use the words in the right way. Now, if everyone realised the definitions of their own words, again, I will go through some of these so it can help you distinguish and to stand up for yourself. Again, no officer, no policeman of any kind has any power over a man unless there is a victim of loss, harm or injury. If there isn't, then everything else in that legal framework and anything that these officers try to do is actually in breach of their oath. Again, protect and serve is their main duty, and any act that an officer does against that is actually in breach. They cannot place an act on you unless you consent. And if you do not consent because you've done no harm, no loss and no injury, then it will show that these people are using their legal rules, because that's what they are, rule of law, that's what they call it. It doesn't mean it's law, it's just a brainwashing key. Anything with law on the end of it is a company, a business of some kind. Doesn't mean it's actually law. It's just to divide the people. Take the exit 11. It's just to divide the people into segregated positions, labels. Yeah, solicitors, family court, solicitors. There's all different ones, as you know, but they're all just different departments of a slavery job. They're not real. They mean nothing, and the only reason they mean anything is because we were brainwashed and not taught correctly and just forced into this world to believe that what we live in is to be real. Again, you know the difference between what's right and wrong because we all have a heart. We've all got a conscious mind. We all must question stuff. We all must do our own research. So for those people that don't understand what a corporation is just dead speak. And the reason it's dead speak is because it's a man-made company. Yeah, that's made up its rules and then got you to believe in them. A corporation is a corp, which corp means dead, and an operation means machine. So every time you go to work for a slavery dead job that has policies that have been made up to follow these guidelines for these jobs to be done correctly, or for you not to be able to do this, or for you not to be able to do that, whatever way you want to look at it, they're not law. Yeah, and no one can hold you down to them until you consent. Again, there is a massive difference from knowing what's right and wrong. Consciously aware of knowing what's right and wrong. You know, there's things out there that are not right that people do, but it doesn't mean it's a criminal offence. For example, fly tipping. For an example, fly tipping. Take fly tipping for example. We know it's wrong. We know it's disgusting, but it ain't breaking no laws. And the reason it ain't breaking no laws, because under common law, under common ground, we already own it. Yeah, so no one should really be charged or arrested or fined for dumping. I'm not saying it's a good thing to do because it's not right. What I'm trying to get at is that we should know the difference between what's right and wrong and what law is. You know, I'm not, as I say, I don't agree with anyone fly tipping, but again, on the other hand, it's not a criminal offence. It's knowing that it's not right in the first place. Yeah, but the reason that they bring these things in is because if they can program everyone, yeah, make everything expensive for everyone, make everything hard in different ways, because let's be honest, there's a lot of job structures out there that actually can't even follow its own guidelines because of the way the job is being built or the way the job works. Yeah, because nothing can follow through paper. If we followed paper every day, we wouldn't get nothing done. This is why everyone breaks legal rules. You speed, you take cut corners, you know. So realistically, if we're all cutting corners in a legal system and breaking all the laws, why is everyone not been arrested? Because everyone keeps breaking legal on a daily basis, but no one gets arrested. And then those that do get arrested are getting arrested for maybe not the right things, but they're, some people would say, petty crime. But they're not petty crime, they're the illusion that they're petty crime. Because again, they need the illusion to keep everyone divided, to keep everyone thinking that they're good or bad, so they can keep this system running. As I say, like, once you understand the 10 commandments of your own law, and you see how it can protect us, our own family and our own children, yeah, you know, like, it's down to each and individual to be able to stand up for themselves. It really is. It's down to them to do their own research. Again, if you're new to this or you've already been on your journey and you're still stuck in the same cycle of shit trying to break free from it all, then the only way, and every time you will break free from it, is when you decide to break free from it. Yeah, no one can hold you in enforce you in anything. So for example, right, as I said, police have a duty to uphold, to protect and serve. Again, you pay their wages, and any act that they do against you without there being a victim, they are actually a criminal and breaking their own oath. And again, an officer is just an office worker. So if an officer represents themselves as a officer, then they're out of jurisdiction due to them being out of office. Again, officer is an office worker. You're just taking the R off. They sit at a desk. Yeah, a policeman goes round and catches criminals. These policemen don't go round necessarily catching criminals. I'm not saying there isn't any good police out there that don't do a good job, because they are, and there is. But these ones that stick on the beat, the ones that are on the street, the ones that think they've got the power, the ones that think that they're walking around with a big old, my ego is bigger than my own opinions, they're the ones that are going to fall down. Because these people are silly, these people are stupid, and it's only when we recognise and we stand up for ourselves, and you will see that these officers have been trained, brainwashed, and to believe that their ego is bigger than their own, what their job description actually is. Again, a policeman, an officer, or a constable, or anyone that says that to you because that's what they think, and they think they're protecting and serving the people because that's their main job, they're not actually protecting and serving you when they're using acts against you. The only time that these people can arrest you is if you've caused a victim. If you're arrested for anything else, then you can use their acts, whatever act they are using on you, you can use. Enforcement, again, enforcement means to make someone obey. So if you're being enforced without your consent, then you rather can say you're being enforced. And enforcement is a crime because no one can make a man do what he wants to do unless, and you only can make a man do what he needs to do unless he's caused a victim. If you haven't caused a victim, then there's no crime. Again, and every act that any policeman or any man that does against you without consent is basically harassment, conspiring, enforcing, which is perverting the course of justice. We need to break our language down. You know, I get kicked off. I've just been kicked off of Facebook. Social services, guys. It's the same fucking thing. If you've got social services coming to your door, social services is a company name. That's all it is. It's a corporation. Hasn't got no right to take your children unless you consent. Yeah? If anyone's taking your children and using any act or any of whatever they say, it doesn't matter what they say, it really doesn't. Someone's taking your child and your child doesn't consent and you don't consent, yeah? What is it? It's enforcement. They're enforcing your child by you trying to make and follow a act or a rule or some kind of legislations. Again, legislations and acts and rules under the law are all illegal. So if they're all illegal and someone tells you with their job that they need to take your child and you say I do not consent, then stop playing around in their silly games and recognise what they've just done is kidnap. Yeah? Again, people go, oh yeah, but when we go to the court or the family court, well, you tell them that you don't consent to this. I didn't ask for my child to be taken away from me, and I don't agree with what you're doing, and everything that they're using is stopping your freedom of speech, your freedom of will, and your freedom of choice. Now, again, no man has the right to stop your freedom of choice, your freedom of will, and your freedom of speech. And if they do, then they are enforcing you to make you obey with their legal terms. Again, legal isn't law. It's a fear-mongering tool to you accept it or for you to keep fighting in it. Again, when you go into any court and you say, I don't consent to this, I withdraw, I want to take my child, I want to come out of all of this, I want to be free, and they tell you you can't because of some bullshit legal system, then you should be using that legal system against them. You should be recognising that any judge, anyone in those higher positions that are trying to keep your child away from you, they're doing nothing but conspiring against you with someone else to outnumber you to be able to take your child away from you. And you're accepting it because you feel that you haven't got the power, and any power that you may feel, if there's a loophole, you still feel like you're fighting forever. Again, when you change your mindset, understand the language, you take your children back from when you take them back, because no man can conspire against you and your child. If they do, it is perverting the course of justice. It's harassment. It's intimidation. Yeah, it's enforcement. We have so many tools that we can use, and when we start to realise and take a step back, we can actually use all the procedures that the police are supposed to use for the good, but they use against us as victims, because police look at every single man and woman on this planet as a criminal. That's a fact. Every trained officer, policeman or constable are trained for everyone that they see is to be a criminal. And the reason is because if you do something wrong, I don't know, not even do something wrong. If you're driving and for some reason you get pulled up by a policeman or whatever, they think they have the authority to get all your information, take everything away from you, and take your fucking life, your money, and do whatever they want with it. Again, if a policeman comes to your, or pulls you out, or comes to your front door, or anyone in fact, yeah, anyone, doesn't matter about their job or whatever, anyone comes to you, pulls you over, and you have caused no victim, then there is no crime, then they need your consent for you to get into their job so that they can then charge you. And they will do anything to use it. So a police officer will see from 1 minute supposed to be protecting and serving to pulling you over to get you into a contract for you not to consent, for them to then get a taser gun out on you and shoot you with it, or to beat you up because they feel and they've been trained to see that you're a criminal when really there isn't a victim, and they're using their acts against you because you have no other choice, because you don't understand, and they're getting away with murder because they're stealing your money because they've got no morals over their mortgage and they don't understand their own law themselves, and they're just following guidelines because they believe that legal is law, when actually their legal procedures are for guidelines, which some of them are, can work, but again, if everyone understood their own knowledge on what law is, then you wouldn't need police in the first place, because under the law, it gives you equal ability, it gives us justice, it gives us balance, it gives us everything, absolutely everything. This is how you stand under law, yeah? If you want to play in the loophole of legal, again, do your own research with it all, Common Law 61, and you'll see that when you stop playing your straw man, when you actually understand your straw man, yeah, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, I've done my straw man, but I'm still paying it all, and I'm still doing this, and I'm still doing that, then you're not getting your plan. You're not really, in my eyes, you're not getting your straw man, because you're, oh, I understand my straw man, and I understand it's a corporation, but I'm still living in it, yeah? Step out of your straw man, step up, yeah? If anyone uses your name, that's making claim. If someone's making claim on your name, that is a crime, yeah? Because they've shared your data to get it. Again, when everyone else realises that we, the people, need to protect our data from roadwork cameras, from policemen fucking doing speed shit, because again, no man can share your data unless you consent. And if someone shares your data and you haven't consented, then I'd just like to say that it's fraud. Yes, you can use the act if you want and use the legal against them. This doesn't mean that you can't use a legal framework. The only difference in the sense of using a legal framework, instead of playing in it, and this act does this, and that act does that, and that act beats this, and that legislation beats that, and that legislation beats this, and you're just going round and 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 round in circles, where realistically, why don't you use their legal procedure, yeah, and turn it on them when standing in the law as a man or as a woman. Again, under the law, common law, no man or no woman, no corporation, no one can interfere with another man. If a man obstructs another man, it's called perverting the course of justice. If a man enforces you or kidnaps you, it's a tribunal court. If a man or a woman breaks their oath, it's a tribunal court. Fact. Can't be a policeman and then go around giving acts to people and breaking and not protecting and serving when there ain't no victim. How do you do that? We might as well go round. We might as well go around dressing up as policemen, so we can just beat people up for the fun of it. So we can use acts against people because we think you're acting suspiciously. Well, there's no crime because there ain't no victim. Again, if no one understands what no victim means, it means no harm on someone else's head. Yeah? No loss to someone else's property. Not no loss to someone's business. Yeah? Because their business is down to their business. Yeah? That corporation, that business, is just a game. Yeah? Their rules don't apply unless you consent. And all of these courtrooms and all of these fear-mongering bullshit courts are nothing but ours. And they'll always be ours. And the only way that they're ever going to take them back is when you stop letting man conspire, obstruct, enforce, act in bad ways against you. Yeah, and when we recognise that you're just here to do whatever you feel right in your heart, you'll see that every man and woman that is robotic under rules and the belief system that your PM or those that you believe in charge hold more power than you is the reason that you're all in this mess in the first place. And this is why most of this system doesn't make sense to anyone, and everyone just gets on believing what they know is to be true. Again, everything that we've ever been taught is a fucking lie. Everything that we've ever been taught, again, is a lie. And the reason it's been a lie is because it needs players in a legal system, because the men that created it all, and then the help of us to help create it, because we had no other choice but to follow what we knew. And by doing what we know, there's so many good people out there that we do our best to do good in the system as well as what it is. But really, realistically, this system doesn't and isn't equal for anyone. And the reason it's not equal for anyone is because everyone's so divided, because they don't understand their own law. They just know what they know, and that's it. And no one is ready to upgrade, learn, or protect themselves, or want to know what their own rights are. And if we all learned what our own rights are, you would see that this system, all this inflation, the millions and millions of nans and granddads that are going to die this winter because they can't have heating on, it's just so very sad to see that these people, you know, and I'm not talking about the people in the middle that are working for them, but the people at the top of these corporations already know that you don't need to pay for all this in the first place, because they're the ones that took it off of you by creating a third party interference with your treasury and with your national grid and with your oil and etc, etc. You know, and when you get, you know, as I said about earlier in the thing, Native Americans, white people, Native Americans, all of that jargon, which again is only another sort of narrative brainwashing skill to actually keep you away from living the truth, but also at the same time that are actually showing you what they're doing on a whole scale, and that means that they're actually wiping people out. A bit like piracy. They come over on a pirate ship, they wipe you out because you believed in God, you followed your Jesus, you followed your heart. But this time what they did is they come along, they killed everybody off, they burnt all the fucking books, they rewrote everything, they put you at school, they put murderers on the street, they act in secret societies of what the next plan to the world is. They promote it by using TV programming, and then you believe what it is. And if people say, well, I don't believe what the TV says, well, it's a load of twaddle, because you buy everything off the TV. You're literally living in the TV. We are the TV. You know, we have been made up of the TV. This is why we can meet people and go, oh, you remind me of this, but you remind me of this person, because there's only meant to be 4 personalities in the world, and when you've mixed them 4 personalities up in the world, yeah, and then you're putting them all on, you create more. It's crazy, isn't it? Because you're creating personalities through more fiction. You know, there is only 4 ways. I don't think it's 4 personalities. Please forgive me on that. But we're all been mind blasted and sub blasted by all these different actors and characters that have been put on the TV. That if we like a character, like, you know, there's people out there like Star Wars, and there's people that like Elvis Presley, and there's people that like Billie Eilish, and there's people out there like all so many different people. Like, you know, we're talking generations of different kind of people out there, and everyone might take a liking, you know, and then you pick up on stuff, you pick up on little habits and pick up on that, and what you're doing is you're not actually being you then, because you're actually filtering the stuff that you've learned from the TV and now applying it into your own life, because that's what you see fit to be right. And this is when you end up being built up into an ego and opinion, not actually knowing anything, because we were never taught anything. We were only taught to fear other man and their jobs. And again, it's not called a job's worth for nothing. And the reason it's called a job's worth is because what it writes on paper is not necessarily true. Only what you feel to be true within your own heart is what the truth is. And the more people that let go of the system, the more people that do their own research, the more people that see what your money is actually going on, because your money is going on paedophilia, your money is going on taxes that fund war, that your money goes into, you know, I know most people think that this money that we pay goes to this person and it works all round, but it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because all these people over the years with all this gold and silver, and if you don't believe me, you only have to look at the Queen's building and it's got gold written all over it. You know, and if she gives a fuck about any man or woman on this planet, then she would give back to the people instead of putting you in this. Yeah, she put you in it. That's why it's called the monarch. But the monarch's not been around. He died in 2001, and we all went back into a common law jurisdiction. But then just to say that makes it wrong, because we've always lived in a common law jurisdiction. The only difference is it was hidden away. And this is why it's very important to recognise that if you're just a man that's getting on with your own life, yeah, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to just break free from this system, because you're not. But that doesn't mean that you can't play this system to your advantage and stand up in truth and what's right, with the right knowledge and the right mindset. Again, we've all been lied to. We're all paying into this system to kill us in one way or another. You only have to look at the sky. It's got fog fiddle over it. You know, this is not natural. It ain't just because it's winter, it's raining. These are man-produced clouds with chemical shit in them. Yeah, this is what's causing dementia. This is what's causing problems. Another thing what people got to realise is the food that you're eating. We already know. You already know. You know McDonald's is not good for you. But go and have a look what McDonald's really is. If you don't know already. You know. Again, what we eat, we are what we eat. And the thing is, they make the good stuff expensive and the shit stuff less. And the more shit stuff you eat, the more that you're not actually giving the best minerals for your body. The reason, and hence is why we all get diseases, or we're obese, or we got man tits, or we got big asses, or or whatever people want to decide to say that is out there. Again, everything to me is a label. Everything with a label, everything sells. Yeah? If you're not eating the right food, then you can't moan on what you look like. You know? You know, if you don't know what they're putting in our food, you know, chicken breasts, chicken this and chicken that, go and have a look, guys. Because some of it's GMO food, some of it fucking pumped with hormones, you know. And if you don't know that your chicken's being pumped with fucking hormone shit and water retentions and all that, then it might be the reason why men are getting big boobs, because they're fucking drugging our food. And again, all that money that you're paying into the system, believing that it's there to help us. It's not. It's the only people it's helping is to make more weapons that go against the people, to keep you dumbed down, to keep everyone in a divided war, religion, race wars, you name it, narcissistic, everything. It's all to keep control. Activism. Go and have a look what the meaning of activism means. You know, oh, these governments are. Look at History X, for God's sake. You know, like, if you've not seen History X, that's all run through fucking background government shit. You know, Tommy Robinson and all of them, they're all paid actors to get you to fight something that they're fucking involved with. Yeah, because they don't want to be seen it. Why do you think he tells you this? And for anyone that is a Tommy Robinson fan and believes that what he's doing, don't get me wrong, the message of saving children is a fucking great message, but what he's got behind it, it ain't the same thing as what it is for me and like it is for you. And if you're getting pulled into this bullshit, then you're a Jesuit, you're a Jew, you know, you're in part of a Freemasonry. And if you don't believe me, I've got the videos to prove that it is. And if he's just acting so he can try to make people aware, then great, well done. But again, the law is about protecting you yourself. Yeah, the law as a whole is not a system in the sense as like what the legal is. Legal is a system, and a legal is a system because it needs jobs to create the legal guidelines, yeah, so you can be trapped in it. Law gives you freedom. Law means that you got to stand independently on your own and recognise what's right and wrong. Simple as that. Yeah? Otherwise, no one else you can't get done for anything else. No one can use their job against you because it's their job. Law is different to legal. Very much so. You know, again, law, and the reason it is in my eyes, it's legal. It's legal, everyone's job guidelines, follow them, you know, but it doesn't mean that if you break the law, break the legal, that you're in trouble. You need to go to prison, or you need to get charged this amount of money, or you need to get. That's just the game. That's just the game that they want you all to believe in, so you can keep paying out. Law is different. Legal, one word. Law, another word. Legal means legal fiction. It means that it means it's an infinity program that everyone needs basically a different job so they can keep playing chess. Yeah, because your rules are different to mine, and you know, business to business. If one company's going to war with another company, their policies and their policies, well, and they're going to argue it out, and then they'll get a solicitor that will help them to do that. Again, a solicitor is there to solicitate. Yeah, it doesn't mean they're there to protect you. They work for the court, they work for the judge, then they work for you. So all that money that you're paying into any court solicitor, you're not actually paying to help you. You're paying a solicitor to follow the guidelines of a court, because it's a corporation. This is why there's no justice in the world. Because if there was justice in the world, then paedophilia and the people that believe that the Prime Minister and bullshit wouldn't be where they are now. because everyone would know their own rights, would know their own law, and by knowing your own rights and your own law gives you the freedom of choice, freedom of speech, and freedom of will. Again, as I say, the law is very easy. It really is. No obstructing another man, no obstructing, no conspiring or acting against another man. No matter what it is, doesn't matter if you owe money to someone, if you owe money to someone else, as in an individual, then you're committing a crime, because you owe money to someone that you're not paying, so it's classed as theft. Yeah, that's from man to man or woman to man on that scale. If it's you owe money to a corporation, you can get rid of it anytime. And the reason you can get rid of it, because as soon as you stop paying it, that corporation, they'll send you a letter to tell you you've been a naughty boy and you haven't followed their guidelines. Again, it's not law. It's only a rule. Sorry, it's a rule, it's not law. So they'll send you a letter to tell you haven't paid, I don't know, your mortgage or whatever. Again, for me, when I speak about one corporation, for me, I speak on all. Yeah? I speak on all corporations, because they all come down to the same thing, no matter their guidelines or their rules. They're all the same at the end of the day. Yeah? For me, because they're dead. So if you owed money to a corporation and you can't afford it and you stop paying, then you'll get a letter, a threat letter, saying you owe this and we're going to send it to a bailiff, etc. So right, again, so when they send that letter to you, yeah, and you go, all right, okay, whatever, keep that letter, yeah, because that's the company that company's gonna do you harm, believe it or not, in the next month or two, yeah, or even quicker, depending how circles they get. But when you don't pay it, it goes for at least 3 weeks to a month. Then they hand it over. As soon as they hand it over, they don't hand it over, they sell it over. Yeah, they auction your debt off to a bailiff company, and then your bailiff believes he's got the right to take it. Well, that bailiff hasn't got the right to take it, and this is why he hasn't got the right to take it. Because you didn't consent. Because you didn't consent. You didn't consent to pay the bill in the first place, so you stopped paying it. That was the main reason you did it, yeah? Then you got a bailiff letter. Now it's making you think, oh, yeah, because it does. You know, anyone on this journey that goes through this will feel exactly the same, but please don't be worried, you know, because I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself. Again, only on consent that you lose. And if you do not consent, you can't lose. So again, once your data has been sold from the corporation you stop paying, and it's been sold to a Marston's or DCD or whoever it goes to, it doesn't really matter, just another label, you will see that as soon as they have shared your data across to the bailiff, that them two companies are now in breach. And the reason they're in breach is because when you said you didn't consent to pay anymore, you also applied that you didn't consent for anyone to share your data. Now, if someone shares your data, again, if you want to do it in an act because you feel more comfortable, then that's up to you. But I'm not here to play legal games. Again, if they do break it, it is an act under the data protection, so you can use that if you want to. Again, the law is about individual power, and to recognise that anyone sharing your data is making claim on you. So you have two crimes now for yourself, because you're not playing in the act. You have two, and the reason you have two is because you've got two companies that have conspired and acted against you to share your data and make claim on your name. There you go. So you have conspiring and acting fraudulently. Period. That's even before anyone's even come round to your house. They have sold your data. How you use this It's down to you. But most of the time it's about getting rid of them. Yeah? We can get justice in the end, but first it's about getting your power back. It's about getting rid of this debt, and it's about them not coming back. Yeah? If you're a little bit further down the line and you're learning all this and it's making more sense to you and you're understanding it, then then you can take it as far as you wish. Again, only when you give up your power, you lose. When you don't give up your power and you stand under the law, you win. So say for the next time that you've already got that information, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later or whatever, you get a knock on the door. Yeah? And it's 2 bailiffs standing at the door saying that you owe them money, and they have a warrant, and you owe this, and if you don't pay it, they're going to come in and take this, blah, 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 yeah? Well, when that bailiff knocks on that door, my first opinion is, I have the camera out. And the reason I have the camera out is because it's for my safety, as well it is for theirs. To make them aware that you are recording for my safety and for their own, and any action that they decide to take today will and could be used against them in front of a court. Do you understand? Yeah, majority of the time they say we understand. Then you ask them what they're here for, and they'll say, are you Dean, or are you Bob, or are you whoever? And you say, excuse me mate, how did you get this information? And then they'll probably say to you, well, they'll tell you where they got it from. They will actually tell you we got it off a DVLA search, and you will say, well, isn't that data protection? Have you not broken data protection? They'll go, oh, no, we've got a warrant. We got a warrant. And that warrant hasn't got a signature from a judge. Yeah, and if it has, then don't be scared, because if a judge has signed it to take you to court and there's no victim, yeah, then he's conspiring against you, so still not worry. Most of the time they're all fake warrants. Again, if someone is making a false allegation against you, that is also perverting the course of justice. So when these bailiffs, shut up, when these bailiffs turn up at your door and you know that they've already,
cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
Oh, sorry guys. If you get a bailiff at your door, yeah, and first of all, as you know, you haven't consented for them to share your data, so you've already got that on them. Yeah, you've already got that on them already. Yeah, and what I'm saying is about getting rid of these people at your door, very easy, without no issues and no problems. Yeah, without all the drama, you know, easy and as soon as you can. So to do that, you're going to need to obviously recognise they've shared your data. You're going to need to recognise that any information that they actually hold on you is all false. Yeah, because it is, and it doesn't matter about any warrant or what their paperwork says, because you haven't given consent to share your data and get your information and where you're addressed. So with that said, this is what you can use against them. And it's all about word of mouth. It's all about standing up for yourself. It's all about videoing it, and it's all about putting a price on their head at the end of it, because that's what they do to us. So now we're going to do the same to them, but we're going to stand up in our own power, and we're going to use it against these nonces that believe they hold power over us. So again, as I say, this can work for police. Again, as I've mentioned, they have an oath, and if they don't protect that oath, then they are obstructing, conspiring, acting out of good faith against their own thingy, which means they'll be perverting the course of justice, and anything or any actions on top of that for a policeman you would use against them. Remember, a policeman is only there to protect and serve, and any act that they do against you is breaking their own oath if you haven't caused a victim, and they will be liable for perverting the course of justice against you. So for a bailiff, it's the same sort of thing. Again, you know that they've shared your data, you know that they've come to your property now, which means they've definitely conspired against you. Yeah, and not just that, they're breaching the peace. Yeah, it's harassment, interfering. It's pretty much the same, really, guys. Any man that interferes with another man, or enforces another man without your consent is pretty much perverting the course of justice. So, you know, if you can ask them where they got your data from, make sure you film it as well and tell them that anything that they do say will be used against them, because it will work. Just say, you know, I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're here for, but just to let you know that I am recording this conversation, and if I feel that you are breaking the law in any way of being here, then you may be liable. You'll be liable for me to take you to court under the law. I know it sounds a bit. I know it might sound thingy, but if you don't stand up for yourself, then they're going to keep taking the piss out of you and taking all your money, and they don't need to be taking your money because their job is illegal. It really is. So, you know, let's remember, if you're just getting on with your life and you want to stop paying absolutely everything in it, yeah, and take yourself out of it, you've done your research, you understand, any man, any corporation that sets foot on your home, your land, again, under the law, it's all of ours. We all share, so we've got to start thinking under the law that it is ours. All right, we might not be able to get access to everything because the situation is, but it's about knowing that it is already yours. You was born free and then created into a fictional birth certificate name. Now you run on paper. You get taught to spell because of the spelling. Yeah, and then you've been spell casted, and now you believe everyone's position of power holds more than your own worth. We have to take our own worth back. We have to recognise the difference between common sense and what's right and wrong. We need to take responsibility for our own actions, and we need to realise that under the law, if there's no harm, no loss and no injury, then there isn't a victim, and everything else that you believe to be outside of that is illegal. And if you use their job terms or their job guidelines against them all by standing in the law, you'll see that everyone in their job is out to conspire to get paid, because every man every day goes out to conspire to get paid, if you're doing it in a good act or a bad act. And that's why no one understands the law, because they've got everyone to have a job to think it's more important to live in a legal system which is fake, which is you don't get no justice, which is why you get kids taken away, and this is why we're all paying for it, because most of our money that we pay ain't just funding wars, but it's funding gangs to steal children so they can be raped and murdered by boring men that have got all the money in the world and they've got nothing else to do. Like Squid Game comes to mind, you know? Oh, it's just a film. Is it really? Is it really just a fucking film, people? Is it really? Because I think what it is that they've made us accept that murder and death is all right. And the reason that they do this is because they do it in a comical way, or they do it in a ways that they murder someone and it was all innocent and accident, but they don't know how to confront themselves, and then they hide it up, making it all worse. And when you're advertising that kind of program, and they do that on many levels, they do that with trans, they did that with the 1970s of the gay institution, you know, again, everyone's to their own, but it doesn't need to be advertised. I don't advertise my love life, so why does everyone have to advertise their own love life, and why does it always have to be the opposite these days? You know, and the reason it has to be the opposite these days is because they need you to accept it for it to be real, so it can be created. And the only reason they want you to accept it to be real is because all these people at the top, again, Squid Game, that's how they see it. So by putting this information into your advertising and TV, making us accept to be these jaunders, because that's what they are. They're not genders, they're jaunders. That means, you know, jaunder people, you know, the people that don't get enough sunlight, they look all like jaundered. Yeah, that's what they did to our community by advertising gays and the trans. Yeah, it was nothing more about coming out of the closet and being right. Again, anyone can be whatever they want to be. There is no problem on that half for me. It's the way that it's being programmed into the people what is wrong. Yeah, that's the difference. You know, and some people can't recognise the difference of the programming because it's so accepted from years ago. They're not actually recognising where it all stems from in the first place. And when people actually realise that, unfortunately, anything on the transhuman side of it all is nothing but devil's creation and the devil's work, and that is a true, pure fact. Because anyone with any common sense, natural is natural, and you don't get babies through not being non-natural, do you? So, you know, again, I'm not here to hurt anyone's feelings, and anyone's in their own, and has their own mind and their own right to do whatever they wish, as long as you cause no harm, no loss, no injury. But I do not like the fact that most people don't understand how transhuman side of it all come into play. And if you did your own little bit of research on why that side of it is so infected into this natural world, you'll see that it only comes from the Baphomet. And when you have a look in the Baphomet, you'll realise that you are your sexual appearance is through the devil's mind and the devil's manipulation. And the more that the TV plays it, the more acceptance people will get from it, and then it will become a racist card like the black and white. Because again, you only can get on divide the people if you advertise it enough times for people to fall for it. And then if you get people that don't fall for it, then where's your dividends? There you go. And if you think of just that topic there with everything else that's been created in the world, you'll see that everything else is about controlling the man's mind instead of him feeling with his own heart on what is right and living the best life. It's called conditioning. We've all been conditioned, and only when we accept that we've been conditioned into a program of fear and illusions. And again, you only have to watch Gods of Wars, you only have to go and watch The Truman Show, you only have to go and watch Terminator. You know, it's all there. And one day, people are going to wake up. People might not want to accept certain things on their journey, but again, I have got no malicious or mean stuff inside me. But you can't stand under the law if you don't stand under your own sex. Again, this is another way of why they want to interfere transhuman and stuff like that. The reason being is if they can get you to believe that you're someone else, then you will never live under the law, and they can pull you away from your natural habitat, as they say. And if you don't understand your own knowledge on it, then they can just pull you through the loopholes whenever they feel like it, say whatever they want and get you to believe in it. Again, people need to start following their own heart, doing their own research, standing up for what's right, recognising that all your money that you're being paid or being told to pay out is nothing but a fast to keep you at a dead-end job for the rest of your life, so you go nowhere and be free. Again, if you don't want to be free, then carry on living the legal fiction, living the straw man, you know, your Wizard of Oz, Tin Man, and the courage of a lion, but not really having any courage, because all we do is not think for ourselves and just keep following what we've always been told to follow. So, you know, I'm not my straw man, I'm not the Tin Man, because I've got a heart, and I am the lion, but I've got more courage and more balls as that lion than what I did how they perceived it. Because before, when I was a straw man myself, no brain, and a Tin Man with no heart, I was only the opinionated ego lion. I am not that anymore. I am a lion. I stand up for what is right. I am a man. Legal is bullshit. I'm happy to have a word of conversation with anyone that wants to try. Constitution. Everyone wants to talk about Constitution. I'll talk about Constitution for you. I'll break it down for you as well. Institution. Yeah? Now, the Constitution was built for the people to be able to live in peace and harmony, abundance. Yeah, Amendment 1 is to stop people's freedom of speech. Yeah? But still, we don't need guidelines under a constitution, because under common law gives you common sense. And if you know what's right and wrong, then you don't need guidelines to tell you what you can carry around with you and what you can and can't do. Again, the world is everybody's oyster, and the only reason it isn't is because we're trapped in a legal fiction run by a man's word, while we fear every man's word because we believe we're going to lose our money or lose our dignity, or we're losing something. Again, this, as I say, that this system is nothing but a competition, and when we stop competing against each other, or competing, when we stop competing against each other to be the top of it, and realise that if we come together equally under the law, common law, no harm, no loss, no injure. If anyone obstructs, anyone conspires, anyone acts, anyone embarks on you, again, embark. If anyone uses the word embark, especially police, because they must think, oh, we can embark. Embark means transport. It means bus, means coach, means truck, means train, means transport. So if someone embarks on you, yeah, then they're just seeing you as a vehicle. Yeah, they're just seeing you as a vehicle. They're not seeing the soul and the spirit inside. They're just seeing the meat. Yeah, everyone's got a soul. Everyone's got, well, I say everyone's got a soul. Some people have sold it. That's why they say you sell your soul to the devil. Again, every label, every job that we do, we sold it to the devil. Every bit of money, every bit of energy that we put into it and what we get paid, we're selling it to the devil. Because we live in a devil world, because it's called a legal fiction. Because if we lived in heaven, we'd live under law, which gives everyone equal balance, equal opportunity, and every door is open for every man and child, and no one gets left out. Only in a legal system that everyone's been created to live in is where everyone gets left out. Homeless, poor, poverty, and the reason is because the banks control the money, and those that control the money take it all for themselves, and every year that goes by, another 10 people lose their life. And I don't mean just lose their life and die, because that's on another scale, that someone else is losing their life through that way. But what I'm saying is someone loses their home, they lose their life, and the thing is they're losing all this life, so that other man for another extra year at the bank at the top gets their wages again. And each time that they get their wages again, because the bankers just keep getting more and more and more and more, we just keep losing innocent people at the bottom, because the system doesn't work for us at the bottom or anyone in the middle. It only works for those at the top, and if you are hard enough and you've done well, then great. But the people at the bottom, the people that don't get a chance, yeah, this is not about the people that have the chance. It's not about the people that have a silver spoon in their mouth. It's not about the people that have got up and worked hard for themselves to create the life they've got. I'm not moaning at you for doing that. What I want you to do is to recognise that people are being born, and before they're born, these people already at the top have taken their money before they're even born. And then they get brainwashed to live in a system that they don't understand, because they're brainwashed from day one, like every single one of us, to think that man holds power over another man. And again, no man holds power over another man, because the only time that a man owns another man is when we keep giving that power up. Again, stand up for yourself. Any man, any woman, any corporation, that comes against you without your consent, tell them that they're perverting the course of justice against you. Anything that they use against you, you use against them. I can help you. I can teach you so much more. I don't sit here and I'm not a teacher in the sense that I'm going to sit here and I can talk at any time about this because it's here. Because I've done so much research to realise that the world that we all live in is a shit place. And it doesn't matter how much money you've got or what car you've got. You'll never ever be happy until you understand your own knowledge and your own power. Because when you do, we all won't be driving in like robotics. Anyway, that's it. That's all I've got for you. So take out what resonates, guys. Honestly, no one's going to give you your power back. And if you stand and play an illegal and you find a legal loophole, then brilliant. You know, don't think that I don't appreciate anyone that's standing up, standing strong. But you can stand stronger when you recognise that everything legal that's been designed through man is illegal under the law. And if you do no harm, no loss, and no injury to any man or any woman, then you're fine. The world is your oyster. And if any man interferes, conspires, acts against you in any way without there being no harm, no loss, no injury to someone else, then you're the victim and they are perverting the course of justice against you by obstructing you, enforcing you, or any action further than that you use against them. And only when you stand in that power and recognise your power and stay on your own script, you will win. Otherwise, you'll just keep going around the houses, giving your power to this person, then giving it to that person, and then giving that person. So believe in yourself, do your own research, and be beautiful people all the time.